Hey guys, welcome back to Barry's Corner. It's Emily here, and today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. Every year I do this tag, and every year I love doing it. This year specifically, I've read so many books, so I'm so excited to talk about the ones I love, the ones I didn't like that much. But before we begin, please subscribe, comment down below, and like this video. All of my social links are down in the description box below, as well as my Amazon wishlist if you'd like to give me a book. Now let's get on into the video. Okay, let's start off with how many books I've read this year so far. My reading goal on Goodreads is 60 books, and I've read 58 books this year so far. And I don't even know how I did that. This is the most I've ever read in my entire life. I definitely think that now I'm going back to college in a month, it's gonna be pretty downhill from here, but I'm pretty much already at my goals, so I feel really good about that. Let's get on to the actual questions. Also, I did take a shower. I know I look like a wreck right now, but we're just not going to even speak about it. The first question is the best book I've read so far, and truly the best book I've read so far this year is Reminders of Him, but I will be talking about that a little later. So instead, The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This book is an academia student PhD with a hotshot professor, Grumpy Sunshine, not her professor by the way, just to make that clear, just Grumpy Sunshine romance, and it's so fake dating trope. It's so good. It's literally so good. And I know a lot of people are like, Emily, an adult romance is your favorite book of the year. Yes, it truly, truly is. This book changed my life. Okay, that's so freaking dramatic. It didn't change my life, but it definitely, the time of my life when I read this, it was so good and so helpful. I'm in college and I go to university, and this book is surrounded by academia, and I definitely live by the fact that if you want to go somewhere in what you want to do, surround yourself with people that have the same mindset as you. And if you're the smartest person in the room, then you need to change rooms. And so I feel the same way about the media that you consume. And so this fully being about academia, and both of them, the main character is feeling so confident and really happy in what they do, and then them bonding over that, it was so cute because I got the romance aspect, but then I also got like them being really into research, and that's what I want to do. I want to get a master's degree and go into research with animal science, and it was just so nice to read, and I really was like happy to be in college at that point. Like I really like learning. I really just liked the entire vibes of this book. It's just perfect. Okay, next is best sequel you've read so far, and I have the second and third book in the Crave series by Tracy Wolff, Crush and Covet. This is basically about a girl that goes to a monster boarding school and she falls in love with a vampire named Jackson Vega, and then kind of like a war is going on and she's stuck in the middle of it, and it's so freaking good. The first book I stayed up till 6 a.m. reading, which I've never done in my entire life for a book before. Like, yes, 24-hour readathons and stuff, but like not for a specific book. And the books keeps getting better and better. I just love them so freaking much. There's definitely flaws in these books. Like, trust me, the writing is kind of cringy at sometimes. However, they get better and better because Hudson Vega, who is the brother of Jackson Vega, maybe he becomes a love interest. Maybe something happens with that. It is so freaking good. I also I used to read a lot of fantasy, and now I read a lot of standalone romances, so I don't have a lot of sequels that I've read this year, but these nonetheless are just so good. Next up is a new release that I haven't read yet, but I really want to. This Woven Kingdom by Tahereh Mafi. I read everything by her. I pre-ordered this signed, and I still haven't gotten to it. As I said before, I'm just leaning away from the fantasy, which I used to read a lot of, so I don't know. I'm really hoping I read it soon. Like, I really, really want to. This is something that I have to read by the end of the year, and I definitely will. I think I'm going to make it a priority this coming month. But I honestly don't know much about it, and every single time I read the synopsis, I just don't get it, and I think I won't get it until like I actually start reading it. But I'm still excited, and I'm definitely going to read it soon. Next up is the most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and I think everybody's most anticipated release is It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. Colleen Hoover has a book called It Ends With Us, and I am obsessed with that book. It's basically about a girl named Lily, and it basically focuses on abuse and domestic abuse, and there's a lot of romance specifically with two guys, a neurosurgeon and this guy named Atlas, which was her first love. And I believe It Starts With Us is, I don't know if it's in Atlas's perspective, but you definitely see Atlas and Lily together, and I'm so excited. Like, I genuinely cannot wait. I will scream, and it also gives me a reason to reread It Ends With Us because I just need to feel all the emotions again. Okay, so next is Biggest Surprise, and I'm using this in a negative way. Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. If you've seen my reading vlog on this book, well, it was reading, I think, popular romance anticipated reads, I think. I don't remember. I'll leave it somewhere and you'll find it. But basically, I read 2 books by Colleen Hoover, It Ends With Us and Reminders of Him, and at 5 out of 5 stars for both of them. And this was such a popular recommendation that I was like, okay, this is going to be a 5 out of 5 stars. This follows Tate and Miles, and they start like a friends with benefits type thing, but because of Miles' past, he's like, it can't be anything more. Tate, of course, is like, oh, I want us to be more, and it goes back and forth between Miles and Rachel's relationship in the past and Miles and Tate's relationship in the present, and I gave this a 2-star. Like, it was so bad. The only thing I can truly give to Colleen Hoover is the parallels that she made between the 2 relationships that Miles had, but other than that, like, I don't understand how Tate fell in love with him. Like, I know that this is like probably your favorite book by Colleen Hoover, but it is just not it. Next up is favorite new authors, and of course Colleen Hoover, because I didn't start reading her books until this year and I absolutely adore her. And of course Ali Hazelwood, because I didn't read The Love Hypothesis till this year, and now I will literally eat up anything that she ever writes, seriously. But aside from them, Sarah Adams, she's the author that wrote The Cheat Sheet, and it's basically like a friends to lovers fake dating trope. It is in dual point of view where you get the guy and the girl's point of view, and the guy is so down bad for the main character from the beginning. Like, they're both mutually pining for one another. There's definitely a lot of tropes that the author throws in there, and the main character is definitely a pick-me girl, like hardcore. However, it has so much potential, and it's just such a giddy, feel-good read, and I definitely think that whatever Sarah Adams puts out, like, I will pick it up. Newest fictional crush. I have to do Adam Carlson from The Love Hypothesis. Like, anytime I think of a guy that is, like, my bookish boyfriend, it's either Adam Carlson or Josh Templeman from The Hating Game. Both of those guys are just, like, my dream boyfriend. Like, oh my god, how did the authors make such perfect people like that? And what's so funny is that they're both like grumpy people, and it's just like, do I love a grumpy sunshine type of guy, like a guy that's so like mean to other people but so soft for the main character. And I realized like that is the guys that I like Warner from the Shatter Me series, grumpy. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. So Adam Carlson. Okay, remember when I said that I would be talking about Reminders of Him, books that made me cry? Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. This book is basically about a girl named Kenna, and she accidentally kills her boyfriend Scotty in a car accident, and she gets put into prison for 5 years. She didn't know she was pregnant, so she gave the baby to Scotty's parents, and now she's out of prison and she's trying to go get her daughter, and she meets a guy named Ledger Ward, who turns out to be the best friend of Scotty. So she has an attraction to him, but then they realize like, wow, like you basically hate me because you know, I killed your best friend. It is so good. I cried, and I keep saying this every single time I mention this book. I cried from page 130 on. Just the motherly love. I really enjoyed this book because Kenna is so selfless. Like, the motherly love that radiates off of her is so amazing. But the thing is, she never thinks about herself in this situation. She tries to always think about her daughter that she hasn't even met, and also the parents of Scotty, the boy that she killed. Like, she's trying to give them as much grace as she possibly can because she knows that she killed their son, but the other side never gives her grace, even though that she's going through almost everything that they're going through without her daughter. It is so heartbreaking, my favorite Colleen Hoover story, and it's just my number one, truly my number one, and I bawled my eyes out. Okay, a book that made me happy, Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Emily Henry can do no wrong in my eyes, but when this book came out, I was so excited to pick it up. And it is literally a Hallmark movie reincarnated, but like without like all the cringy, like it was just the good parts of a Hallmark movie. And I loved it. It's basically about 2 people in the book publishing industry, and she goes on vacation, sees a guy that she kind of didn't like in the book publishing industry, and then they strike up a romance. It's just in this Hallmark town. It's just so freaking good. It's a slow burn. Just, it makes you so happy. It reminded me of Christmas, even though it was not around Christmas time whatsoever. It reminded me of sitting on the couch with my grandma watching Hallmark movies, and I loved it. I loved it. It made me happy, and I know that this book has made so many other people happy too. Next up is the most beautiful book I've bought or received, and I chose Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. I got the new cover, and I don't even know if you can see it, but it is so stunning, so cute. Like, I don't know what it is, But just I love it. I love it so freaking much. And I also love the book itself, like the contents inside. I just think the cover matches the book perfectly because it's just so cute and heartfelt, very heartfelt. Now, the last question is, what books do you need to finish before the end of the year? Now, every single time I do a video like this, like in the mid-year book freakout tag or near the end of the year, like what books do I want to get in 2022? I never get to them. And so I'm picking something, only one thing or like one series that I know I will finish by the end of the year. And I'm nothing else. I'm not going to say anything else, but the Divergent series. I just filmed a video of reading Divergent for the first time, so look out for that video. But I'm so stoked to finish the series. I know everybody says that the last book, Allegiant, sucks. Like they hate it to no end. But I'm finally going to read them, and I'm finally going to read or watch the movies. I watched Divergent, the movie, for the first time. I did not realize what I was missing, guys. I had my Twilight era, but I needed my Divergent era, okay? And I'm very giddy and happy about it. So the rest of the Divergent series, but aside from that, I am not putting anything on the table because I will fail and not read them. Okay, so that's it for the mid-year book freakout tag. If you want to do this, I tag you. This is such a fun thing to do every single year. I'm absolutely in love with it. So let me know if you liked the books that I liked, if you didn't like the books that I liked, and all of that good stuff. So please subscribe, comment down below, do whatever you want to do, and goodbye.